Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Brandon Floyd, who is much better known as YS. He has just shared his third studio length album titled MiddKnight, and I am super excited to talk to him all about it. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio right now, so
Nice.
it's a little dark here, getting dark here, but it's all good.
I feel you. What's going on in Cleveland these days? How's the
Uh,
music scene?
Music scene is up and down. Due to COVID, some of the concert spots, some of the venues are now
Sure.
open up, so we get a chance to go ahead
Okay.
and get those live performances going on. So starting to move upwards in the upward direction.
Nice, man. Well, I hope that includes you. We'll see.
Uh, yeah, hopefully.
Well, like I said just before we started recording, I've been listening to MiddKnight all day. It's fantastic from top to bottom. What I really want to start out and kind of get to know is what it's all about. Obviously, it's very lyrically focused. There's a lot of themes being covered here, but
Yeah,
what better to learn about it than from the man himself? So if you want to break it
absolutely.
down, please go ahead.
So I've been making music for a while. So I've created a music series dating back to like 2016. I started a album or EP called Music, and since then I just had the itch to create a bunch of projects. So through my third studio album, Sorry No More Music, I usually get it like a I'll say I give myself time to rest and relax
Sure,
and,
sure.
and flush out all the ideas and the emotions that I had. But for some reason, I never had that letdown. I was like, I want to create again. So my whole premise of the MiddKnight album was really creating something that can vibe at any level. So all the songs, if you listen to them, can kind of be played at midnight depending on the mood. So
I like that.
yeah, so the idea of it came from that, me just creating that night at midnight in the studio. I was like, yo, let me just create a project that maybe touch this emotion right now.
I like that. I feel like nighttime is when we're most creative, or when, I mean, we're so stressed during the day with whatever our normal jobs are, or whatever it is, that being creative and kind of getting that flow out is a lot more difficult. Like
Definitely.
I said, I've been listening during the daytime today, but midnight is coming up soon enough, so I'll make sure to give it a spin then.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I want to talk about the production side of things
Yeah.
because, like I said, it's fantastic. There's so many cool like genre specific themes going on. There's so many different sounds and a
hmm
lot of exploration as well. So I'd love to hear from you, what the thought process was behind all of the inspirations.
Um, I know I'm not the traditional rapper, meaning some guy who's predicated on just bars and up party and stuff like that. Kind of mainstream. I'm not that type of artist. I'm more of an
Good.
artist that touch this.
I
I'm more
know
of
I
an
don't
artist.
like that. There's too sorry to interrupt you. There's just
No, you're
way
good.
too much mainstream crap out there.
Right.
When I listened to your record, I thought more like alternative hip hop, and
Mhm.
there's some R&B
Yeah.
tones in there, but like
Yep.
you hit a little bit of everything, and it's
Yep.
made for everyone. So sorry.
Absolutely. And
Continue
that's
back
no,
on.
it's okay. That's you got it. So the whole premise of it was I think I'm a kind of a soul rapper, meaning I touch a level of emotion when I make music. Either it's depending on, the production. So usually in this project I wanted to touch the emotion side of all my records. So
Sure.
me searching beats, me looking at the sound that I wanted, I literally had to feel something while listening to the beat. So no matter what emotion was, if I was good or indifferent or feeling down or sad, whatever emotion that kind of comes when creating, I had to feel that with the production. So I wanted to be organic. I wanted to be authentic. So every time I write or every time I put my voice on the music, it's a level of pain to it. So that was the premise behind it. The production is tapping something that if anybody listened to it, they get it from a production standpoint. They feel it, even if they don't feel the lyrics, even if they don't feel my voice per se, but they'll understand the direction and understand the engineering side of it as well. Make sure it's clean for the masses.
I 100% agree. Not that your lyrics or vocals take away from any of it,
Yeah,
but if you were to just listen to it straight through on an instrumental side, you would still be moved because there is a lot of emotion within the instrumentation. There's a lot going on there, and I think that tells a story in its own. And then you come
Absolutely.
in and obviously, touch on all the different themes.
Yep.
Another thing I wanted to talk about here was your mention of CMR
Yep.
throughout the record. So, from what I understand, CMR is the Cleveland Music Regime. Could you
Yes.
please expand on what that is and what it's all about?
So originally, I wanted to create like a group.
Yep.
I came from a group when I was younger, but I kind of moved to the solo aspect. And then on the solo aspect, I understand you need a team, you need people in your circle, you need people that kind of support your genre of music.
Mhm.
So I wanted to create like this group. So what I did was create CMR, Cleveland Music Regime, where I just get myself affiliated with producers, other artists, photographers, videographers, and just try to create an entertainment type of platform. So no different from OVO, XO for the weekend, or OVO for Drake,
Sure,
or
sure.
P Diddy, what he got for Bad Boys. The same type
Yeah.
of mindset of creating an entertainment platform that anybody can kind of get to and connect with. So that was the whole premise: is create that platform that what I mean, you can create.
I really like that. I mean, it kind of gives you the opportunity to work with people in your area, keep it local, and then also
Mhm.
bounce ideas off each other. You
Absolutely.
said you said that you were in a group earlier in your life and now you're working solo.
Yeah.
Are there any like pros and cons to either? Like, do you miss certain parts about working with a group as opposed to having full creative control?
No, not really.
Mm,
I like the ability to kind of create. I will say this: it's less pressure being with a group. It's less,
really?
it's less pressure as it pertains to the creating side. It's like all I have to worry about is one verse, and then
That's true.
another person can worry about his verse, and another person can worry about the hook. Or also too, when you're promoting it, it's easier as well because everybody got the same focus and energy towards it. So
That's true.
you get maybe 4 or 5 people in the group. They have their own sub category of people that they associate
Uh,
with. So you just reach more people. So it's a little bit more easier when you create it in the promo side of it. But I like the flexibility that I have as a solo artist to just give my vision, give my kind of take on how I see life.
totally. No, I guess they kind of have their pros and cons, but
Yeah.
I suppose in the creation of this album, was it all you? Like, are you the one putting together everything and doing the mixing, mastering, production? Or did you still have outside help within your sort of music collective?
Yeah, I had some outside help, some people that's
Okay.
affiliated with the CMR. But as it pertains to the creation of it, I
Hmm.
pick my own beats, but I do have specific producers that I communicate with, and they kind of know my
Nice.
sound, and they know what type of direction that I want to go with. So all I do is just pick from their catalog and be like, hey, that's the direction I want to go. And we kind of find beats that find that line. So a lot of production that I have on there is for Beat Buster, not all of them, but some of them for Beat Buster, a guy from Toronto. I've
Hmm.
been working with him for maybe about 5 or 6 years now. So in the midst of me creating my sound, I had a solid producer that allowed me to create that. You know what I mean? So I don't sound like I'm bouncing from genre to genre. I just
Exactly.
sound like I'm me and
Right.
YS and what I bring to the table. So yeah, on that whole premise of that was the focus on making sure that I was authentic in my approach and allow myself to kind of challenge myself and with affiliating with other people and creating with other people. But it's my vision. But of
Right.
course you need help. Of course you
Of
need help.
course. And I think that authenticity does come through, especially on the sound, because you're right. You don't want to jump from genre to genre, even if it is whatever it is, a generic hip hop beat. You want it to have that sort of cohesiveness and that stickiness to make you know that you're going from song to song and it's the same album and that it's
Yep,
the same person at the same time. And
I agree.
I think you've done that. Um,
Thank you.
so as far as the process goes, as far as like starting from scratch, how do you start to even make an album? Like, where does it start from you? You said that this is sort of not, this is like a trilogy of records. Was that correct? Or,
Yeah, I had a trilogy of records, but then I was like, I got kind of like, usually I'm drained after all those projects, but
yeah.
this time I was like, I'm not really drained. I want to
Okay.
create some more. So that was the whole premise of it.
So then you create when you're inspired.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then was there something specifically that you're like, you know what? it's album time. Let's do this. Was there something
Uh,
that pushed you over the edge, or was it just a little bit of everything?
a little bit of everything, because I would say this: a lot of my music is I have to, like you said, be inspired, but also I have to have some level of living in there. So me creating my lyrics is based on kind of like what I'm living and kind of the circumstances that I have to go through.
Sure.
So me actually just living created that album, created that project. So me day to day going through experiences, the ups and downs of life. I create the content from that. So it's I never really want to force a record. I stopped doing that a long time
Good.
ago. So I'd rather just not make music and live the life, and then come back with something that's, heartfelt, because it's actually something I'm going through. Because I remember forcing records back in the day, and it just always felt I didn't feel right about it. I'll say that after hearing it and going and promoting it, I'm like, this ain't really me. So I made sure that I don't force my lyrics or don't force my records. And if I do collaborate with somebody, if I'm not in that mode, I'll be honest with them, like, yo, I'm not in the mode of making music. You wouldn't be getting what you paid for. So just to be honest and transparent with them. So I love to try to like live my life a little bit and then create.
I respect that so much. There's such a pressure on independent artists to
Mm.
like you have a single that comes out, for example, and people listen and they love it and they
Yeah,
share it around there. You're almost expected to follow it up as soon as possible.
true.
But if you're not feeling it, if you're not inspired, and there's a time frame put on things,
Mm.
the forced nature of it comes through in the next thing that you make.
Definitely.
I think that a definite positive of working by yourself is having that quality control and making sure that whatever you put out, it's going to have your single name on it. You're not part of a group anymore.
Yeah,
People are going to listen, and even though they want more from you, if you're not feeling it, that you can't put it out. So I
true.
respect it. I respect it.
Def- Definitely with that. And then to add to that, it's allowing me to learn being by myself and going through
Yep.
these situations and actually living, because people don't understand the business side of it. Like from the creative side of an artist, when you rap, you make music, that's a whole different. And the business side is a whole different animal. The marketing, the
But they have no idea.
promotions, the advertisement. It's one of the toughest things you can ever do, to try to connect to the people that you make the music for. So
Totally.
I like to have that balance of understanding both ends of the spectrum.
No, I fully agree. And it's actually, I'm happy that you brought that up. I wanted to know. So, I mean, you've been doing this for a little while now, whether yourself or with a group, but as the process as a whole, from the start, from the even like the inception of making music and the writing lyrics all the way to the promotion side of things, is there
Yeah.
something in the middle that gets you the most excited?
The most I get excited about making music actually is going to the studio and making it.
It's when you
That's the
feel
most
like a real artist.
that's
Yeah,
when I'm done,
totally.
when I'm trying to translate my thoughts and my
Yeah,
practice, because I like to practice a lot on my music and
sure.
record and create reference tracks. So I want to translate how it sounds in my head to translating it on to the actual music. But when you but that's the fun part. But the business side, I think it's very influential, because the things that I didn't know prior to me starting in the music business, I just made records when I was younger. You just
Sure.
slap it on there and you promote it. And back then it was a lot of different platforms to do that, with DatPiff, a lot of mixtape
Yeah.
sites and stuff like that. And it's just free music and you get it. Now it's I gotta figure out the IRS codes and different
Yeah.
things like that, the copyright and the advertising, the promotion. So I like that, though. I'm like that. I'm learning that, because
Sure.
now that I'm able to have intelligent conversations with people that kind of drive that forward. So if I would get into these meetings with somebody that got some big businesses, I know the language that they talk. Sometimes I think artists get took advantage of because they don't know.
Oh, they
So
do
me,
all day long.
yeah. So
All
me,
day long.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people get gypped out a lot of money, millions of dollars. So
Mhm.
me, I like to learn both sides, and me understanding the business side, I think it's been the most beneficial of me becoming an artist on my own, and taking that solo approach.
Absolutely. Everyone thinks it's fun and games just getting in the
Oh,
studio and, oh, I'll come in for a couple hours, I'll do my thing, and I'll head out. No, not anymore. Not today. Not when there's a
so,
million different ways to promote your music. I always say this, it's never been easier to make music nowadays. You can do it on your
mhm,
phone. May not be good, but you can do it on your phone.
that's true.
But it's also never been more difficult to get your name out there and to get heard. And it's just like, it's this ever evolving game almost, and you kind of have to learn to play the game. So
I definitely agree with that. Definitely
yeah.
agree.
I do want to know though, so as people do find your music for the first time, whether it be an earlier record or this newest one, is there something that you want your music to say about you as a person when they actually listen to it?
Ooh, yeah, that's one of the things that make me make music. I would say is allow myself to be authentic. I want people to hear me and understand the honesty in my existence. For
Sure.
example, what I mean by that is me being righteous. I'm not saying biblical or nothing like that. Just
Oh,
being honest about my approach to music. I'm not trying to make money from music. I would love to make money from music. Come on, that's
that's a
anybody.
dream.
But me going through my process is therapeutic for me. So
Yes.
me giving my authenticity to the music, I want people to understand my vision, understand where I'm going through, understand what I'm doing, understand my approach to why I make music, and have that soul. That's why I say I think I'm more of a soul type of rapper because I
Mhm.
tap into that level of pain, that level of honesty, and I like to stay in that niche before I kind of try to find what works for me. But I think creating these projects allow me to stay focused on the actual sound. You know what I mean? So me, if somebody just heard me for the first time, I just want them to understand my approach. And I think I want them to respect what I do because I don't take it lightly at all, from my engineering, from my production
Totally.
to my actual art, my artist side of it and creating the music. I really do spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time trying to perfect it. And obviously you ain't gonna be perfect, but you want to have that mindset of trying to get it the best way you can.
That's a great answer. Yeah, you can either spend thousands of dollars on a therapist or thousands of dollars making music, and that's
There you
your own
go. Perfect.
therapy.
Perfect. There you go. Right there.
Same shirt, right? But then
Definitely.
you have something physical at the end that you can
Hmm.
come and then people will find your music, they'll listen to your music, and it can become their own form of therapy.
Definitely.
Because the thing about making music, it doesn't matter what kind of music you're making. Someone that is out there putting their heart on their sleeves, putting these lyrics together and telling you their personal experiences. As an artist, there's no more open door to your heart as a person. You know what I mean? And it's just
Yeah.
like, it has to be an interesting feeling for you because people will listen to you and they don't know who you are, but they're hearing all about you and they're learning about you. And then if they ever meet you, they think that they know you because they've
Correct.
listened to you. So it's kind of this weird cycle of
Yeah.
music, but I mean, it's got to be great to get that satisfaction back.
Exactly. And then just me trying to connect with the people. And I think even in my doings with listening to music when I was younger, I always connected with the artist that was honest about music and what
Sure.
they do. So I just wanted to kind of capture that same type of authenticity. It's like, hey, I want to be the person that people believe in beyond music
Sure.
and actually as my character as a person.
Okay, so in that case, who are you channeling? Who you listened to in the past with who you're making music, today?
That's tough. I'll say
It's a never-ending question. There's no right
yeah, it's a
answer.
lot of artists that
Sure.
that influence my approach to music. But I'll
Yeah.
say I'll give you five individuals
Okay.
that kind of shaped me in a way that my approach was sharp. So I'll say Nas was one of them, Jadakiss,
Jadakiss, I haven't
Gangs.
heard that name in forever. And I know
Yeah,
that used to be on in the car all the time. Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, one of the artists that kind of
Mhm.
shaped my approach. Jadakiss, Common from Chicago, him working with Kanye, kind of that combination
Yep.
that I like to see. Also, um, Rakim, that's an old school one
Yeah.
right there. Just once again, listen to Rakim. He was always preaching music and lyrics and being the best at what he wanted to do. So that's the type of approach that I have, is trying to be the best.
Nice. I like that a lot. So, hypothetically speaking, what does the next year of your life look like in terms of music, potential touring, or just like in a perfect world, what's it looking like for you?
Oh man, touring, connecting with the people, pop up
Nice.
shops, selling my merch, doing everything that I put my heart into. So, but I'm actually working on a mini tour right now to try to tour
Awesome.
around the country, a little bit here, a little bit there, different cities to
Sure.
promote my music. You know what I mean? And working on always working on new music. Um, If I need to take a break, I will. But
Yeah.
I'm always creating. I'm always creating in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, just connecting with the people. I want to connect. I want to be able to touch people musically or physically when I'm around them and say, hey man, thanks for coming and checking out my music and checking out my performance. So either if it's live connecting with them or if it's connecting with them through social media or some type of
Totally.
internet, I just want to be able to build that fan base that I think be helpful in my career.
Totally. It's always appreciative as a fan, especially of someone who's new and, or not new, but emerging.
Yeah.
And yeah, making those personal connections, it means a lot.
Yep.
I feel like you're someone who is quite connected in your local music scene. Is that correct? Is that a safe assumption to make?
I used to be. The
Okay.
reason why I say I used to be is because I used to be in a position where I had a lot of time to do that. But I don't anymore because I'm so perfecting my craft now
Yeah.
that I don't really go out unless it's calculated, meaning I'm out to do my performances, I'm out to do pop-up shops, I'm out to promote, I'm out to do things. I just don't randomly go out anymore
Mhm.
to look, to check the scene. But obviously, if you're on social media, if you follow the people
Yeah.
that's
Right.
important, you can stay in tune with them. But that's the kind of the gap that I bridge. I was able to maybe stay connected, but not as much as I would like to,
That's okay.
because I'm focused on trying to get as best as I can.
I totally understand that. You could probably still answer this question then.
Hmm.
First off, I want to know what you're listening to, what might be on your playlist, but also if there's anyone in your local scene that you are enjoying that you might want to shout out and say, check them out too. They're doing big things.
Yeah, I got a couple people that does a lot of music, but I've been working with a guy called JG. He's based out of Cincinnati and Columbus. He do a
Nice.
lot of work. It's a good friend of mine, man. We do a lot of like powwow and talking back and forth and trying to connect and try to work on something that's great.
Sure.
But that's one guy local. But I listen to a lot of artists: J. Cole, Kendrick, Meek Mill,
Mhm.
Dave East. From soul music, I like to listen to her. I like to listen to Summer Walker, Tink. So I like to listen to a little bit of everything to just
Nice.
try to keep myself sharp.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like the more music, the more genres you listen to, the more kind of like vast influence it has on
Yeah.
your music. And I think that that does come through. For those that, oh, I'm only going to listen to this artist for the next month and they make their own music. Well, it sounds like the same exact thing and you're not really expanding on your own. So,
Exactly.
gotta listen to a little bit of everything.
Exactly. Because it's subtle things that I learned from different artists. I'm like, let me see how
Right.
I would sound with my version in the studio. And I
There you
work with my
go.
engineer.
There you
And I'm like,
go.
let's see if we can find something that kind of fit that same type of
Yeah.
emotion right there.
Listen, every single person who's ever made music is inspired by someone else.
Of course.
I mean, you can say, oh, this sounds too much like this and this sounds too much like that, but like, where do you think they got it from?
Exactly.
There's only so many chord progressions in the world before they run
Exactly.
out and start making the same thing. So it's all good. It's all good. All right, I've got one more question for you at this point. Something that I like to wrap things up with.
Okay.
Basically, want to know for those that are going to listen to your music for the first time and those that are kind of like enter your world that you've created in this album, is there
Yeah.
an opening message that you'd like to say to them as they listen for the first time?
Absolutely. I want to thank them for taking the time out to actually giving me a chance to listen to them because as an artist, I'm nothing without the ears. I'm nothing without the people. I'm nothing without the connection that I have with the people that's listening to my music. So I want to say thank you, but also want them to experience a level of peace within my music, knowing that I make music to kind of allow people to be themselves, allow people to feel themselves. You feel good this day, you feel indifferent, you feel bad. It's okay to feel while you're listening to my music. And I want people to be themselves as well. So once again, I just want to thank people for actually giving me a chance, but want them to connect with me as well and allow myself to enter their world as well.
Awesome. Fantastic answer and a perfect way to wrap things up. For those who are watching this, I cannot recommend it enough, but by the time this comes out, MiddKnight will be out. I think it might already be out at this point. So
Yes, it
check it
will.
out, stream it, follow along with YS. Brandon Floyd, thank you so much for your time. This has been a total treat.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
You
I'll talk to
too.
you later. Bye bye.
Have a good one.